Good morning, YouTube. Okay, back to job shop land again. What we got here today is just take a seat. What we got here today is this wheel hub off a forklift truck. And what we've got to do is we need to do a little repair to it. We got a bearing race here that needs to be pressed into this end, and there be no problem. Right, it's got a little bit of wear in there. It's not a get out. Very difficult there. It's not a huge amount of wear, but if you should just be able to see there's a little bit of a lip where this is obviously it's probably spun in there, I would imagine, and it's worn it away. It might not have actually. It looks quite clear. The board focus. It looks quite clear, the bore. But so that's what we need to do. We need to build up this this inside bore here, and then we'll machine it back out. We also got a bearing to press in the other side. Look. We've also got a bearing to press in this side. This side's all right. It looks like they've had a little bit of trouble getting it out, I would imagine, if you look at that. But that's not going to affect it, because this the contact surface is actually down in there. Now obviously it's a fairly substantial lump of cast, so we need to do a little bit of preheat on it before we go in, and we're probably going to go in with some silicon bronze and build it up. And we haven't got to build it up a great deal, but we do need to build it up a little bit. Now it's worth checking before you start something like this, that obviously once it's built up, we need to stick it up in a lathe, and we need a reference surface to clock this off. Now if you look inside there is a bore there. There is a bore there. It's only rough machined, but it's going to be concentric to this outer bore, so we're all right. We can clock off this once we built this edge up, and we'll use this machine fascia to make sure he's sitting square with the world. Okay, so I'll dig the lamp out, and we'll put some heat into it. We got oxyacetylene, yeah, but we're not going to use it for this particular one. I got a video coming up now on using oxyacetylene, on setting your bottles up, on setting your system up, and do's and some very sort of serious don'ts, because there's some pretty dangerous and misguided information out there on the internet about oxyacetylene, and I don't keep it as a rule, because it's basically it's real dangerous. I've been job shopping now for quite a few years, and I've never ever come across a point where I've needed oxyacetylene. The price of acetylene at the moment is I think probably about 200 quid a bottle, right? And I got an import plasma cutter here for cutting that didn't cost that much. So there's some good gases out there, available sort of off the shelf, that are still dangerous, but nowhere near as potentially dangerous as keeping acetylene at your place. I worked in heavy engineering for many years previously, and we always had oxyacetylene. But like I said, we did work with 4-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch plate, you know, and so it was necessary. But you know, if you can avoid keeping it, then it's certainly worth exploring other options. Right, well, I'll get set up now, and we'll get a bit of heat into this, and then put some runs around it. Right, let me get set up. Okay, so all we're going to be using here is MAPP gas, which is well, I think, to be honest, it's a form of acetylene mix, but it's considerably safer than having bottles of acetylene here, and it's hotter than a lot hotter than propane and those sort of plumbing gases. It is a plumbing gas. It's a lot better than, or I find a lot better than propane, and you can use it. You know, you can use it at any angle. You can use it upside down or whatever. You know. But we're just going to get enough heat into this, so we're not going to shock it when we start welding. Basically, I just need to warm up, you know, around where I'm going to be welding. I don't need the entire part to be, you know, to be smoking hot. It's just to get a bit of heat into it. Alright, this is going to take a while, and I need 2 hands to do it. So I'll bring you back in a minute when we're getting a bit closer. Okay, so I've been doing this now probably about, I think probably about 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, and it's probably, I don't know, just about hot enough that I can hold it with my welding gloves on for a short time. So we'll get it earthed up now, and we'll get some build up on that bore. I'm not going to film the welding because I haven't quite mastered the arc shot yet, so it would be pointless. But I'll bring you back now when it's filled up, and we'll take it over to the lathe. And well, no, first thing we got to do is we got to check out what our tolerance is. So we're going to go on to the manufacturer's website, and we're going to check what tolerance they're calling out for a press fit. Okay, so we've just finished welding up the inside there, and I put considerably more than what I probably needed in there. Let's see if you can see. So I've gone right into that back wall there, come right at the edge. It's still extremely hot at the moment. It looks like it's taken pretty well. I'm not too concerned about these little edges on the outside there, because there's a chamfer there, so I'm not worried about that. But like I said, we'll wrap this up now, and we'll let it cool for a bit, and then we'll come back and we'll get it up in the lathe and see what we need to do. Okay, right, I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, so while we were waiting for our part to cool, and it's we've just unwrapped it, and it's warm. It's not quite ready yet. You know, I can touch it, but I would imagine it's probably around 50 or 60 degrees. But what we've done is we've gone on to SKF websites. They're not SKF bearings, but they're a standard bearing, and we've looked on down through the literature, and all this is all free to download. It's a good source of information if you're dealing with bearings. And we're looking for that fits for cast iron and steel houses, because obviously we got a cast iron housing. Now we know it's a press fit, so we could, by experience, sort of have a stab at what our fit is going to be. But the thing with bearings is, if you're a little bit tight on your press fit, not so much with these because they're tapered, so obviously the the amount of torque that you put on the on drawing the bearings into the race has an effect on the amount of pressure on there. But certainly other types of bearings, just plain roller bearings, if you're a little bit under on your tolerance, you can get tight bearings and they'll wear prematurely. So what we're looking for here is we got it tells you your different sorts of bearings here, right? And we're looking at this one here, heavy load on bearings on thin walled housings, which is pretty much as close as we got to what we're doing. And we got normal to heavy loads here, but it's with a ball bearing, which is and we can see that's nice. But we're looking at this one here, which is a roller bearing wheel hub. Oh, hang on. Which is a roller bearing wheel hub, and it's telling us that it's a P7 fit. Now, I could go through the machinery's handbook and check what a P7 is, but there is a handy little app that I will attempt to. There's a handy little app. God, I'm in a mess here. I'm not particularly prepared for this, am I? Right. There's a handy app by Verda Technique, I think, German company, and it's free on Android. And if you go into there, there is a section called tolerances, and this is all info. I can't show you, but I'll pop a screenshot up now. And basically you put in your nominal size, which for us is 75mm, and then there's a drop down menu, and it'll give you all your there'll be letters in the one column, so we pick P, and there'll be numbers in the other column, and it'll be a 7, and it tells us that tolerance is minus 0.021 to minus 0.05 something, right? So this is our size that we're going to be shooting for is going to be 74 point or I don't know, say 74.97 around there. Okay, so once this is cool enough, now we'll get it up in the machine, we'll get it indicated, and we'll see how close we can get that tolerance. Okay, so our part is now cooled down, and we're going to get him set up and dialed in. I was hoping to hold it on this outside edge. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit too far out for our jaws. So what we've got is this little ridge in here that we're going to grab onto. Okay, so we'll open our jaws out a little bit. time up. Okay. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to indicate onto this this board. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see it, but we'll do our best now. Put that there. There we go. Okay. Okay, hang on, let me just move you a little bit. Might be a little bit difficult to see. What's that? About that? Yeah, right, okay, as you can see we're miles outside the range of the indicator at the moment. There's our high spot. Okay, so we've got that. Just move our indicator a little bit because we're just outside the okay, now we're within range. A little bit of a bumpy ball, but oh dear. Oh, look, we've lost it now. Okay, so if I don't know if you can see that, but, yeah, you can just about see it. So we're pretty good there within about 0.01. So that's going to be probably better than it was originally. Now what we'll do is we'll check the face in there. Okay, whoa. Okay, so we're a fair bit out there. Okay, so we're high there. Oof. High there. Okay, so that looks pretty good there. There's a little bit jumping about, but I think we're alright. Now we'll go back and recheck the bore. Make sure we haven't moved. Okay, so we got a little bit of high spot. High spot. Okay, again, it's bounced around a bit. We're rolled in with a bin about 0.01, 0.02. Okay, so we'll just for one sanity check our face again, and then we should be good to go. Okay, so we'll bounce around a little bit, but I think we're good. Right. Should be able to put my light back on now. There we go. Right, check our jaws are all tight. Yeah. Right, we got our let's see if I can get you to be able to see the insert. Okay, so there we go, we're there. Let me put my glasses on. Okay, so let's have a look. We are, let's okay, so that's about 400 RPM. All we'll do is we'll go in and just find the back of this. Actually saying I can do it off the face. Come off, back face, 0 up there, and I'm going to come back 5, there, 3, 0, now we'll take a pass, and we got a fair amount of material to come off, so we'll give it a good go. Just cut it off. Okay. Here we go. Okay, right, let's take another little blast. Hopefully then we can take a measurement. Look at these chips. You've got to love the colour of these chips. Oh, no way. Like me. No way. Should have enough there to
Okay, so I did tell you a little fib earlier. Our bearing is 80 mil. So we are aiming for 79.997-ish. Open up. Oh, for God's sake. This one. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay, so we're at 76.15. Set that reader. Take a few more passes. Here we go. Let's go to 78. Hopefully we got enough material in it. So we should be reading verse 78. Okay, 78.03 our time, and my readout saying 78.04. Another pop of it. Okay, there they close enough anyway. Right, okay, now we'll go to 79. Let's see if I can show you these. Can you see these? These are probably the most beautiful color chips that that you're ever likely to see. Okay, so the readout's saying 79, so we should be reading 79. Oh, coming very good. Ah, come on. Okay, so that showed me 1.5 hundredths under. So another go. That felt like a good one. Okay, that's showing me 200ths over. So another go. Okay, so this isn't this is gauges. Oh, we might have to swap gauges now. Let's see. Right, let me bring you back a minute. We get another gauge. Okay, not sure exactly what was going on with this, but some bit of a funny isn't it? One that. And again. Okay, so 2 under we read it. Right. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go, we're at 200ths under 79. So we're going to go, I think, straight in and go for it. No, actually what we'll do, we'll go 79.5 and then we'll go right from the side. time, like we had perhaps a pocket of something in there. Yeah, I think there's a little something by there, but it's alright, it's no problem. We're getting very close to the parent material now, see? There wasn't a lot to come out of it. So we should be reading 79.5. Okay, 500 under. So there we go. Yeah, 500 under. So that puts us at 79.45. Okay, so I think we'll go straight in now for our 79.97, which would be smack bang in the middle of our tolerance. We just want to be seeing casting on this back wall here. We should be able to hear it. Okay. Alright, because there was so little there. Right, we're hitting casting on the back wall, so that's good. We're at those sides there. We've got casting showing through on our bore here, so we're good there. What we'll do is we'll break this corner now. Okay, so we got our little chamfer tool in now. We're going to come out and break this outside edge and see if we can get into the back there. just break that. I don't know. Might not be able to actually. Right, we'll have a look anyway. Okay, so okay, so that's about it. If I what I'll do is I'll just come in and okay, so we're pretty good there. We'll just soften that edge. Size, we should be good. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so we're at 79.97, which is smack bang in the middle of our where we want to be. Just for luck. Okay, there we go. See, second time round, 79.97. Okay, so we're gonna make the machine now, and we're gonna get this bearing race pressed in. Okay, so I'm back over on the bench now, and just for a sanity check, we got our bearing, and it's not dropping in, it's not falling in there. You can feel it just starting to bite on the get it on the chamfer there, but it's it needs a press, so that's good. We'll take it over on a press now, and we'll pop him in there. Okay, so we got it seated pretty squarely. We got a little block of aluminium here to plonk on top of it. We are lined up there. Okay, you're not going to be able to see a great deal, but we'll have a look now. Right. Okay. Okay, what we need to do is we need to get a piece now to push out the last little bit. Okay, and that's home. Okay. Okay. So we've run out of time. Okay. So that's about the end of this little job. We've managed to save somebody's fork truck, at least for the time being. It's I would imagine it was considerably cheaper than buying a new hub. So that about finishes this episode of the Joys of the Job Shop. I hope you're enjoying it. If you are, click like, click subscribe. There's plenty more where this come from. Right, I'll see you next time.